welcome back to Devils United for a preview for the last game of the season against Crystal Palace. I've got Rich. Rich, how are you?
I'm not too bad. Just as you can see, I'm tucked in bed. I had a rough night last night, but I didn't want to miss this at all. So
it's a pleasure to have you on. It's been a while, hasn't it, since we've been streaming together? Because that's where we actually met off your channel.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But it just shows we've got our different journeys and stuff. And we're so busy, and you just realize, oh my gosh, like I haven't spoken to so and so this long and that. But I'm glad I got the invite on here. And
it's an absolute.
Is this my debut on your channel?
It is. It is a debut.
Oh my days!
And I've known you nearly 6 months.
Wow. Well, better late than never, I say.
Exactly, because it was actually before we played Arsenal. That's when I met you, because I met you, Brosh, Tariq as well. So that's where I met you through just before Arsenal.
Wow. Let's not make it be another 6 months then, Maisy.
No, definitely not. A few people are in the chat. Hey there, Luca. Hey there, Raver. I hope you're enjoying your draw against Liverpool, because he's a Liverpool fan. I'm happy. Hello to my dad as well. I hope you're all well. And I'm glad that you do like my shirt, Raver. Champions League 1999 final shirt. Probably gives you a bit of nightmares. So let's talk about Crystal Palace. How for you do you feel like your season has gone so far? Because I think a lot of people really underestimated Crystal Palace as a team.
Yeah, we were tipped for relegation. Vieira was one of the first to get sacked. And we have a very good chance of finishing the top 10. And the outside chance of finishing 9th. It's so crazy. We're extremely happy as a fan base. FA Cup semi-finalists as well. It's been a very good year. And I just hope that, because I'm not that I'm nervous about next year, but second season syndrome. I just hope we don't dip, because obviously other teams are going to know what we play like. We're no longer a surprise to anyone, So it's going to be a very, very big year next year. But extremely happy with our season so far.
I actually was just looking at the Premier League table as you spoke, and if, depending, of course, Leicester lose, Brighton, Brentford and Newcastle, you could actually finish in 9th place. How long was it? When was the last time you actually finished 9th place? Because it must have been a long time ago. Sure.
It was. There was one season we finished 10th, but that was way. I think that was not Pardew. Might be Holloway. A long time ago.
Yeah, so it's a successful season overall, and a lot of people as well, not just underestimated Crystal Palace, they underestimated Patrick Vieira. Me for one. I will hold my hands up here. I did underestimate Patrick Vieira, because you've seen what he was like as his previous managerial experience. You think, this is going to be a difficult test here for Patrick Vieira coming to this Crystal Palace side, knowing how Roy Hodgson played. He played negative football, as a lot of people probably describe it. So having Patrick Vieira out, how would you describe his football then?
Oh my! The way we're playing football now, considering how we were before, and I always say we used to park like 2-3 buses and stuff, and just hope Wolf Zaha could do something. Now we've got to a stage where we're playing out from the back. This is the first season we've tried it as well. So for him to actually get it to work is a huge success. With our squad, so it is nice to we've got players on the bench that could start. We've never had that before. So massive credit goes out to Patrick Vieira. I think everyone would have just wanted us to survive anyway.
Yeah.
But it's, and obviously, as you would know, as it's difficult for a manager to implement a style of play in just one season. And Vieira managed to do that. He's completely changed us from a counter-attacking, relying on Zaha side to actually, you know what, we're going to take the game. To be able to do that in one season is phenomenal.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Hey there to Jackie in the chat. Hello there to my queen in the chat. And hello there to Nippon in the chat as well. I hope you are all well. There is a few questions already here in the chat, and I'll go with Lucas first. Question about Aaron Mambasaka. You've heard that he is linked back to Crystal Palace, haven't you? And I'm guessing, based on how Mitchell is playing, you don't want Mambasaka back.
Well, Mitchell's a left back, so.
Oh, can he play both though? If I'm not mistaken, he can only play left.
Yeah, so it's all right. We need a back badly because we've got Joe Ward and we've got Nathaniel Clyde, who are both in their 30s. So, we desperately need a right back. However, because we've changed our style of play, I wouldn't want us to sign Mambasaka. If we were to take him on loan, I wouldn't complain. So I think there's other areas in the field in our squad that we need to strengthen through signings before we get a right back in, a permanent right back.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that comment. And we actually bought Mambasaka for how can I say a robbery price. An absolute robbery price was Mambasaka.
We are very grateful to your generous donation. It managed to build our new academy. Oh. Likewise, how you built Leicester's new academy as well. So
yeah, we built their training ground. We built your academy. Look what Manchester United are doing. They're doing positive things for other clubs apart from our own. But if you did get Mambasaka, though, do you think Patrick Vieira could turn him into a more of an attacking fullback, or do you think that he'll just stay Mambasaka?
You know what? Even if he doesn't, we then become defensively stronger. So on that side of it, I won't complain at all. But I do think he would want Aaron to get forward, because what he would do is then give Elise a bit more space, instead of Elise having 2 men at a time. So it's definitely an area that would need improving. I mean, we've got Nathan Ferguson, who is a perfect fit for a right back spot, but he's just never stayed fit. When we signed him from West Brom, he's just never been fit. But he is he's the attacking fullback that we need. But his career hasn't started at all, unfortunately. So,
how old is he as well?
He's only like 22, I think. If he's very young. Hold on, let me just clarify that. He is young.
Yeah. And if he's young, though, he could potentially even build up himself and potentially become a much stronger player, and he could help in terms of his fitness levels if he is young.
He's 21. Yeah, well, hopefully, but he's had too many injuries for such a young age. It's quite worrying.
Yeah, that's the only problem, though, isn't it? When you have a player who's got too many injuries, it just doesn't work, though, whatsoever, which is a bad thing. But there was a question here from Ravi as well, which we'll go to. What's your thoughts on Edouard, and where do you think he's most effective?
You know what? My position on Edouard has changed so much over the season. Because when we signed him, I was like, oh my gosh, we've actually got a goal scorer. And he started off so well. I still think he's our best striker, personally. However, I'm wondering, is he working hard enough in the training ground? Because for Mateta, who I didn't rate at all at the start, for Mateta to come in and displace him as the number 9, it must say a lot about his character. And not fair play to Mateta, because he's played well. He has played really well for us. So I can't really knock it. The only other side to Edouard that might work in his favour is that Patrick Vieira's played him a lot on the left-hand side. And he's played well there as well. Against Arsenal at the Emirates, he played there. He's had Liverpool, he played there at Selhurst Park. And he's actually done a decent job. So if Saha was to go, we're not sure what the situation with him at the moment is, Edouard, I think, can easily deputise there and do a decent job.
Yeah, well, I've seen of Edouard. I've been very impressed with him as well. But he has been having a lot more games, what is being on the bench, first of all, and from becoming a an undroppable player to becoming a bench player, you do look at that and you do question that as well. I always have said that you do question players who are bench warmers. I've done that at Manchester United, and a lot of people say, well, he just hasn't had the time, he hasn't had the opportunity. But you always need to look at the outside of it before you think it's the managers, it's this, that, and that. Because I always say the same about Donna. I don't know if you agree with me on this, but he's had 4 different managers since he's been at Manchester United. Of course,
Already?
Lampard being one. Yeah, he's had Ole, Michael Carrick, Ralph. Now he's got Lampard. He's still not started. He's not started since the 13th of March.
Is he still injured?
I don't think he's injured. No, he was on the bench last time I seen him. And that is
That's
still
a shame for
raising
him,
alarm
because he's such a good player.
He is. He's a brilliant player, but when you see 4 different managers not using a player, I do raise alarm bells.
Yeah. No, very good point to that. You know, I know obviously if he doesn't start with Ten Hag, yeah, then he's definitely out of favour.
Yeah, exactly, because that's exactly what people are saying. If Ten Hag don't use him, he is done for. But I do look at how Ten Hag is, and he wants De Jong, and then I don't think Bruno's going to be an undroppable player. So then that means, where's Donny going to go anyway? Because if we're paying 70 million on De Jong, he's going to need to start. He's going to be Paul Popper's replacement. So we need a defensive midfielder. So then that Donny can't play a CDM. So where's he going to go? He's still going to be a bench player.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. It might even be a case where you don't really play with DMs and you just play with 3 centre midfielders.
That could be a good shout, like the 4-3-3, but for the
and then they just, whoever picks up the ball deepest, they just kind of interchange and rotate.
Potentially that could be the case, but we've played without CDM, haven't we, in general, apart from Matic, and look how we've played.
That's a good point.
We haven't had a proper CDM since Michael Carrick, and we've been awful this year, more than usual. But my dad in the chat already did ask about Zaha. Do you think he will leave?
I don't know. I don't want him to. I don't think he will. But if a decent enough offer comes in, we are not a club to be like, no, you're not going anywhere. You know, Arsenal, I think, season wanted to revalued him at about 60, 70 million. They put in like a 40 million bid and were like, you're going to make. And then they went and got to sign Pepe for 70 million anyway. You know, I hope he doesn't go. But if he does, like I said, Edouard could fill in that role. We've got Lunge coming in from Derby, Jesrit Zaki from our academy as well. So we've got replacements. And that's what's so different about previous years. We actually have replacements ready, which I've never been able to say that before in the past and stuff. So, yeah, I hope he doesn't go, but if he does, we're ready for that.
Do you think, though, if he did leave, would he be because you've got these replacements, would he be an overly big miss?
He still will be in his contribution. He's been brilliant this season. 14 goals. He's really changed up his game. He's become more clinical in front of goal. He's a lot more direct. So that's credit to Vieira. I know obviously he gets a bad rep regarding diving, but
so there's a lot of players.
He's the most fouled player in the league. By obviously he did go down a bit theatrically at times. I would admit that as a Palace fan, and that's obviously where he should be getting penalties and he doesn't because his reputation comes before him and stuff. So yeah,
I think that's the same though with Bruno as well, because he's died so much at Manchester United. There is some times where he should have been given a free kick and he hasn't been given that. Like there was a particular one against Aston Villa a few years ago, what shouldn't have been a penalty. But we got awarded it. He touched the ball, or he actually hurt the Aston Villa goal player, but we got awarded the penalty. It was one or the other, but for me, I think because of the way he is as a player, and he moans as well, and he stays down and he overreacts. He stops himself from getting these free kicks, and I even agree with the same with Ronaldo now as well. When Ronaldo's not getting awarded the free kicks he deserves for the exact same reason.
Yeah, spot on. And I think this obviously plays on like referees' minds and stuff. Not saying that they're right, but it just doesn't help. And then even like with the media themselves, the way they portray how certain players are and stuff, that doesn't help their cause either. But it is what it is. Bruno's been under some unfair criticism regarding the diving aspect of it and such.
Mm-hmm.
Playing wise, he hasn't had his best season at all.
No, he hasn't had his best season. Neither has any player, though, to be honest. And I look at Bruno Fernandes, and I still think even a Bruno Fernandes who isn't on form, I would still rather play him than any other player who we do have, because he's still got such a high amount of chances created. He's creating stuff. He's still brilliant in terms of his crossing. And when he didn't start against Wolves, he was shown that he was missed, because as soon as he came on the pitch, he got us a free kick. He was all over the pitch. And the thing is, what really needs to be worked out, Bruno needs to know where he is playing, because he's an headless chicken at times. He's sometimes as a number 10. He's sometimes playing on the wings. Sometimes even playing next to Dalot, because Dalot doesn't know how to win simple duels. So he really needs to work on his positioning. And I think that's another thing what's letting Bruno down as well. And I always say, if Bruno has two good informed wingers next to him, he'll thrive. And that is exactly what he's done. He's had last season, he had Rashford, who was still contributing a high number of goals, even though he wasn't at his best. He had Cavani, who was scoring for England. You've got Mason Greenwood, who was developing as well. All them three players were working well. Bruno was working well. He's got Sancho, who is adapting to the league now. He's got Rashford, who isn't playing well. He's got Alanga, who's only made it through the ranks. And having them, and you've got Ronaldo as well. Ronaldo's, of course, been our best player, but when you've got players around you who's not playing well, I think it's hard for him to play well.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, I've said to some of the other United fans that I speak to, I think the downfall for your club was the moment where Ralph Rangnick changed his system.
Yeah.
Because it immediately said that the players have the power. If Ralph wanted to play 4-2-2-2, what he should have done is played the players that want to buy into it. And I think there was too much complaining. I think they complained about training methods. They complain about so much, So yeah, I guess with Ten Hag coming in, he's gonna put his foot down. I reckon. He's gonna. Yeah. I think the problem is that you've already got too many players to get rid of, and so many positions to fill. This is gonna take 4 windows, I reckon.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4. And the thing is, the Glazers don't like investing in January. So it may take years rather than take windows. Because if they don't like January transfer windows, they only like it in exceptional circumstances, which is why we got Bruno in January, because we couldn't get him in the summer. So that's why they got him in January, because if he didn't, I think City was going to go for him. So I think that's the only way we really do look at getting players, is if we know it's pretty much a done deal. Because even Ralph said in recently he wanted a striker in January, and they said no, they don't want to invest in January. Of course, I don't think that an interim manager should be invested in, and it should have been more of a clear out, which I do agree with. But we definitely do need a striker. And knowing that the situation outside of football, that is when the Glazers should have said, right, okay, you can have someone on loan. Get someone on loan if you want to get someone on loan. I know he wanted the player from Leipzig. I know he likes Darwin Núñez as well as another one. So it really, if they didn't want to invest because of Ten Hag coming in, they should have said, right, you can have a player on loan instead. And that is the downfall too, because there's been games where we've played no striker. One in particular against Manchester City. And you've got Alanga, who's only just come through the ranks, playing as a striker. It does not work.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Elanga because he's coming and he's made one of the positions his own. So it's just definitely an attitude thing with your squad. Like, do they want it? Are they working hard enough? I'm not going to go on to your skipper because you probably have enough of them as it is. So I'm going to leave that one alone.
Thank you. I've already made an agreement on I was on a show with John before, and we've already agreed that they can have Maguire for a bag of crisp and a fiver. So that's already a done deal.
That's even too much.
I did offer a Kit Kat.
Fair enough.
I just offered just a Kit Kat, and they said no. You can have a bag of crisp and a fiver. So I was like, yeah, I'll have that. It's an upgrade from the Kit Kat.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it because let's just say he's just terrible. But that's all I'm going to say on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rich is in the chat. Hey there to Rich, and Legendary, hello there to you. I definitely agree with this comment here. United don't do scouting. They go for players who are hyped in YouTube, overpriced, overpaid. Ten Hag needs to change that.
I love this comment.
I actually agree with that. And plus, when I do look at the signings, they look at going for commercial players. You look at the likes of Cavani. He got bought he came on a free. But if it wasn't the name Edinson Cavani, would Manchester United have scouted him? No. If you was looking at the likes of trying to think of some other, you want to sign Ronaldo if Ronaldo didn't want to leave. That was a commercial signing. You could tell because you look at the posts on social media every time Ronaldo's and they tag the Megastore in, and I can't even name. Apart from Bruno Fernandes, I actually can't name a real good signing for Manchester United and post Sir Alex Ferguson, if you want me to be honest.
Yeah. Another problem your club has is that Man City are effectively making your signings for you. Because as soon as Man City say they want a player, it's like, oh, no. And you go and splash out needless money.
That was like Sanchez.
Alexis Sanchez, Fred, Ronaldo. And obviously Ronaldo's one has worked out, but you wasn't looking at him until City had said, and I don't even think City were in for them.
No,
him at all. I think his agent fabricated that to get a move. So it's crazy.
I agree with that completely. I think in a certain degree, I do think that Fred has worked, but I think he has played out of position for him to see the best of Fred, because I actually think we've seen better of Fred when we've seen Scott McTominay sit back or Matic sit back. Then Fred is allowed to play as that box-to-box midfielder, which he does play for Brazil, because he's got Fabinho next to him or Casemiro, whoever it does decide to be. And then that allows Fred to go forward. He's had a number of goals, a number of assists now this season. And he's one of them kind of players where he actually would suit Ralph's style of play if the other players suited Ralph's style of play, because he has that pressing style of play, what Ralph likes. And I think he would have worked well in that 4-2-2, but the players just didn't want to use the 4-2-2.
This one, they really didn't buy into it. But yeah, that's where Rangnick, I think he needed to put his foot down.
He will. I think in terms of Ten Hag, he will definitely put his foot down. Because I've read rumours that he's even said, like, if you don't, I want this, and this. If I don't have this, I'm not coming to the club. And I think that Manchester United have said, right, okay, that's fine. And Ten Hag has actually had experience in the boards before, so he knows how to work it. And so I think it's going to be very interesting. But I think we do need to have patience with him, because we're not going to have. This is the thing with Manchester United fans. A lot of them expect too much too quick. But if Ralph Ten Hag comes out start of the summer, says, right, okay, this is this and this. I want to work in the next 5 years to get the best of this team. Then it makes Manchester United fans think, okay, 5 years it is, kind of thing. because you've not had this under Jose where he said, right, 5 years, not seen this of Louis van Gaal. I think if you had that little bit more communication, I think it works a lot better as well.
Yes, well, and I mean, I know Tenar's got a massive job in his hands, but if the owners have given him the reins to do what he wants to do, then I think he'll be very successful. You know, he's had experience of rebuilding teams. I know a lot of it will say that's the Eredivisie and it's the Dutch league and stuff, but when you look at, like, for example, he took Ajax to the semi-final, which they've obviously battled against Tottenham, but then after that they lost about 5 or 6 players, you know, to obviously bigger European clubs, and then he's had to bring up a new batch of players. So you look at the likes of Timber, Gravenberch, who would probably be leaving, Anthony. So he's had that experience of just rebuilding teams. I think the last time he's played Ajax, if memory serves me right, was a Europa League final. And then there was the likes of Onana, Sanchez. You know, so there's always been a turnaround of players that he's had to work with, and I think he'll do amazing for you guys, to be honest.
Yeah, he's had that experience in taking the team forward, and he's had experience in building teams. And these days with managers, it's either one or the other. They're either so brilliant at building a team, but they're not that one to take forward, or they're so brilliant at taking the team next step forward, they can't build the team. And with a manager who can do a bit of both, it does allow that more planning space for Manchester United. And we definitely do need a plan now, knowing that you see Man City had a 5-year plan, you've seen Liverpool have a plan, you've seen Newcastle now who's got a plan. When you have got teams who are getting invested in and they're getting a plan, it's not looking good for the likes of Manchester United, because if we don't have a plan, we're going to be done for in the next 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a shame that it's taken 8 years. Is it 8 to 10 years since Fergie left?
Yeah.
Now
the last time we won the league was 2013. So it is 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years. So it's a shame that it's taken 9 years for you to realize you need a plan. And obviously, like, hearing reports of the changes that have been made in the back, it seems as if you're kind of putting things in place and stuff. Hopefully it's not too little too late, because obviously you've had the emergence of City and Liverpool recently. Chelsea's got a new owner, so probably speak money. Newcastle, we don't know where they're going to be at next year. You know, Tottenham, by the looks of it, are going to have Conte again if they make Champions League, because obviously it's in their hands, and he's a very good coach as well. So it's going to definitely take a bit of time.
It definitely will take a bit of time, and I do agree with Legendary comment here that we need to forget about the league for the next 4 to 5 years. I do think that we need to have next season as a write-off for me, then look at aiming for top 4, then top 3, then top 2, and we need to look at cup competitions. We need to at least try and win an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, because we haven't won a cup since under Jose Mourinho in 2017. That's the last time we won a trophy, and that was the Europa League. So we need to actually have this plan now, and we need to make sure that we stick to it. And I think even a lot of players will actually come if there is a plan. If you, and especially the young players, because City has a plan. They're getting the likes of Alvarez coming to Man City, knowing that he's got a plan. Well. Haaland is another one. I don't think Haaland's a long-term solution, but I think he's definitely a short-term one. I don't think he'll stay any longer than 3 seasons, in my opinion.
Yeah, not under under the old regime. Obviously, rest in peace, Vieira. He obviously moves players quite quick. And I think you're right. Maybe 4 or 5, and then he'll go to like a Real Madrid or something.
I agree. Going back to Crystal Palace for now, Jackie agreed with you completely in regards to Edouard. He's had limited game time as well, but she wants to know your views on Eze and his return.
We are so happy he's back. Oh, we are so happy he's back. And you know what? Credit to Vieira on managing his game time, because as soon as we knew he was fit, we were like, get him in the starting lineup. And Vieira's taking his time with him. Eze, the last 3-4 weeks, Oh, he's been unplayable. He's been so good, and it's so good to see he's back, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like, we may not. I don't think we're gonna sign Conor Gallagher. I think that we might get priced out of that. But Eze can do a decent enough job in the 10 role. So I've got no complaints. And that's no slander on Gallagher because he's been brilliant for us. And
Yeah.
if we can sign him, I will be so happy. But the drop off ain't drastically because Eze is unbelievable. Such a good player.
What I've seen of Eze when he's fully fit, yeah, he doesn't really have that many bad games. He has a lot more good games than he has bad games. But I've actually, in terms of Conor Gallagher itself, I've been extremely impressed with him. If I was Conor Gallagher, my personal opinion, I would move away from Chelsea. He's not going to get into that Chelsea squad. If you know that you're doing so well in this Crystal Palace team, you even making the debut for the England first team and being a player that young, coming into Crystal Palace first team, then being that brilliant to be called on from the under 23s to get to the England first team, you wouldn't want to sabotage that at all. And I think for me, I know obviously Conor Gallagher and Lingard are two different ages, but that is where Lingard's downfall was. That's when he should have thought, right, look what I've done here. I picked my form back up of doing so well at West Ham. Even though I didn't get in, I was in the provisional squad for England. I was playing in the friendlies, and I was doing so well. I was getting quite a few shots, and that's the thing. If he'd done that, what I think Conor Gallagher should do, he could have been potentially getting a lot more game time for England as well. And I think Conor Gallagher needs to move away from Chelsea to have a better career, in my opinion. Because look at Loftus-Cheek, look at Ross Barkley. They're not.
I was going to mention Loftus-Cheek as well, like another player who had an amazing year alone with us, got called up for England as well. And the thing that Connor's got to decide on is because the biggest factor is that the World Cup is not at the end of the season. It's in November. So if you're not playing in between August and October, your chances of making a squad is very slim. Don't get me wrong, Southgate's going to have favourites. He will pick them regardless. But for those who are like on the periphery of the England squad, they need to make sure they're playing. So even if it's a case where Conor Gallagher doesn't sign for us, he just needs to make sure he's signing for a team that will guarantee him he'll start every game.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And he is good enough to be in that England squad. He's absolutely good enough to be in that England squad, and he deserves to be in that England squad. It's just a matter of the game time, and that's where I do look at these Euros in particular. I mean, not the World Cup, sorry, in particular. Where is this? I thought January we're seeing a lot more loan deals, in my opinion, than we have seen for quite a long time. And do you feel like for you this is going to be the same, but not long-term deals? A lot more short-term deals, so it lasts them up till January, so they can think, oh, well, I'll get into my country now if I do this.
Yeah, I think a lot of players will be thinking World Cup. I don't think they'll care. Not that they won't care about the club football, but no one's going to want to miss the World Cup. No. So I won't even be surprised if the quality of football dips a bit because of fear of injuries. You know, obviously, normally when the World Cup's at the back end of the season, you tell that players' standards drop a little bit towards the end of the season. I think it might have that same effect. Because, like I said, no one will want to miss the World Cup. So they're going to be a bit like, do I go into this challenge here? Do I sprint hard here? Do I pull my hamstring and stuff? It'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
Mm-hmm. And another thing what I was thinking about this World Cup, are we going to see less players coming abroad to the Premier League? Just because it does take quite a bit of time so I know sometimes it can be very quick, but some players can take quite a while to adapt, especially coming from La Liga, for instance. Because I think coming from La Liga to the Premier League, it's very hard to adapt to, in my opinion. So we will see a lot less deals from abroad just because players have got that back in my mind thinking, I'm not. I need to be on the best form because what if it doesn't go
You know,
right
that is
for
a
me?
very good point. It's not something I even thought about. That could actually happen. Yeah, the fact yeah, it takes about 6 months for some
Yeah,
players to really acclimatize and adapt. Obviously, there are nominees like Bruno when he came, he kind of hit the ground running and such. That is a good point as well. Because like I said, that first 2-3 months of the Premier League or the season, I should say, wherever you're playing, is key. August, September, October, those 3 months,
yeah.
so key. And obviously,
Because
getting your
that's when
ticket.
they'll pick their 30-man squad,
Yeah,
won't it, for
it's,
provisional?
it's huge.
They
It's a
might even
big
pick it
deal.
at the end of September though, depending because I think they'll pick. I think they'll probably pick it end of September, and then they'll drop people out in middle of October.
Yeah, because then they'll have a few friendlies as well, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Wow. So 2 months then. You've got 2 months to impress.
yeah, exactly. Only 2 months to impress, and as you say, it does take that little bit of time to adapt. We've seen Sancho; it took him a couple of months to adapt because we started seeing a bit more Sancho in December. I know he was a bench player, but because of him not playing, he dropped out of England because of it. And I don't think a lot of players, unless they're very confident, I don't think they'll want to risk it too much. But if I was Manchester United, though, I wouldn't, and I would personally look at players who are abroad, especially Ten Hag's old team. I want Timber, in particular for me. I know you did touch on him a little bit. I want him. I want a defender from Sporting as well. Inacho he's called. I want him too. So you look at them, and I know Sporting players have done well for Manchester United. You look at Ronaldo, you look at Nani, you look at Bruno as well. But you can. It's never a guarantee for any player coming into any league to think you've done well because you even look at the likes of Messi. He's not doing well in the French league.
Yeah, that's a good point. How many players do you think you need?
If I was going to say, we need it. Every single position needs to be done. Even Ralph has said we need to strengthen. And he said only the goalkeepers we don't need to strengthen, but I still think we do need to strengthen the goalkeeper. A lot of people would disagree with me on this one, but I actually do think in the next 2 seasons, De Gea's not going to be number one goalkeeper just because of his distribution. Because you look at Ten Hag's football, he's more for distribution goalkeepers. So maybe we might see more Dean Henderson in that respect. But
Do you think Dean Henderson will wait 2 years?
no, but I think we'll see more of him next season. I think he'll give him a bit
Okay.
of game time at least, and then he'll decide next season who we would rather have, if he wants Dean Henderson or if he'll want to pick a new goalkeeper. But in this transfer window in particular, we need a defensive midfielder, we need a striker and a right back. I do not want to tolerate another season with Dalot and Mambasaka. Never again do I want both of them playing next season at Manchester United. Because you see this hair, I don't think I'll have much of it left if I see Dalot and Mambasaka playing. And this is the thing as well. A lot of United fans will disagree with me on this as well, but I actually think that Mambasaka has played better this season than Dalot. I really do. Because the difference is with Mambasaka, as you've touched on, he's brilliant defensively. He's great on his one-on-ones. He's great with his tackles. Dalot, I don't know what he's good at. I genuinely don't know what he's good at. You look at him defensively, he gets bullied by near enough every single player who he's come up against. All our goals against Brighton we conceded was from Dalot's side. You look at him going forward, I could only name 3 crosses since under Ralph he has done what's good. 3. So why would you want a player like Dalot? And if Ten Hag is wanting to look at more, how you would say, modern day fullbacks, Mambasaka isn't going to be it either. So yeah, we need to look at. Personally, if I was going to pick, I'd go for Spence out from Forest. I'd have him. I know he's not.
Quality, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have him. He's brilliant.
I won't lie. Like I mean, I know we've been looking at him as well, but if a team like Man United come in, then we've got no chance, to be fair. But we are looking at him as well. Very, very good back. But then I think it'll also just depend on whether Forest get promoted as well. Because he may just stay at Forest one of it.
That is very true.
He's on loan. He's on loan from Borough, really.
Yeah, he's on loan from Borough, and that is a very bad mistake from Borough. Finishing below a team who is loaned with. You'd think that he would at least try and give him a loan deal in League One or maybe Derby or something. But going to Forest, where I would arguably say that he has changed Forest as well as James Gardner, it's been, in terms of Borough's perspective, it's a very wrong move.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with that. So we'll go on to the next question now, and that was in terms of Patrick Vieira, which Ravi did have, and he wanted to know your thoughts on Vieira and his style of football.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Ravi. Yeah, mentioned earlier, like it's such a breath of fresh air because, like I said, we were parking like multiple buses, coaches, planes, everything, and it was horrible football we were playing, and now, especially at Sellers Park, teams are coming to us and we're dominating the football. I think probably only Man City had more possession than us, but that's Man City. Against Liverpool, we lost 3-1, but we definitely deserve something from that game. And we've just become so much better with just how we're playing and stuff. So, I know a few people comment about, I'm confident about this game. I'm expecting us to win on Sunday. I really am. I'm gutted that Elise may not be fit enough. He had a boot on his foot last week, so it's just a shame because he's been brilliant for us. 8 million from Reading, he's amazing. So we'll see, but I am definitely confident.
Yeah,
definitely confident for Sunday.
I was actually looking at the Man City games against Man City against yous, and I actually remember it was actually at the Etihad where you won 2-0, which was absolutely insane. I can imagine how Crystal Palace fans felt, how you felt when you won 2-0. But overall, Man City has picked up 1 out of 6 points against you this season. That is some achievement, outplaying Pep Guardiola.
No, absolutely. I mean, like I said, it's the called big games. We've done well. We have done well. I think minus Spurs away and Chelsea away. The Chelsea away game was the first game of the season. We lost 3-0, but that was only just started to see how Vieira wanted to play. With the Spurs one, we tried that game cancelled because of COVID cases, but they said that we need to play anyway, so there's not much we could do there.
No, exactly. But I'll tell you something. If I was Crystal Palace, I'd be so happy if I picked up 4 points against Manchester City.
Absolutely.
It's not often you could say we've outplayed Pep this season. Not many people have not got a loss against Pep Guardiola. And I know there was like on one of my quiz questions, only 2 managers has done the double over Pep, and that was Ole and Bruno, and it was Nuno from when he was at Wolves. Only 2 managers have ever done that, and that is a brilliant stat to have. And for Patrick Vieira to be unbeaten against Pep Guardiola is a brilliant achievement for his first season. Anyway,
it is. It's on, and like I said, it shows how far we've come as a club. And it's not like we sat back for those games. We had a plan and we executed it, and it worked. It worked, and we managed to get 4 points out of it. So I'm definitely happy.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a question from Ravi again. Probably not that many, but which players do Palace need to watch out for Man United in terms of our squad? Is there anyone who concerns you in this Manchester United team?
Just Ronaldo.
I knew you was just going to say Ronaldo.
Honestly, and I mean, you know what? He may not contribute towards the playing side, but when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net, It's no one better.
Yeah.
If we give him a chance, if we give him a sniff, that'll be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to be mindful of that.
I agree. And Ravi had a question for me about United avoiding the back foot in this game. And I think, in my opinion, we need to play against you how we did in the first game against you this season, where I think our pressing play was absolutely brilliant. I know there isn't going to be players who are going to want to press, but Fred, for me, is a player who can't be dropped. Because you look at them games against Fred, our losing streak is a lot worse without Fred. We've lost a lot. I think we've lost near enough most of our games when we've not played Fred. So that just shows what kind of a player he is, even though people think he's not that good of a player. So he's a player for me who needs to come and play. Matic is another one who needs to come out and play. So it allows Fred to go forward. And I remember that thunderbolt of Fred on that last game. Oh, another Fred goal like that would be absolutely amazing. But
all players, he normally skies them to Rose and that.
Mm-hmm.
And he managed to find the shooting boots against us at Old Trafford. But yeah, I mean, you thoroughly deserve, especially for your first half performance. You know, and it's crazy because, like, literally just before Fred scored, I missed her. Football's a funny old game.
Mm-hmm. It is, and I do also think that we do need to isolate players like Conor Gallagher, not allow them that much space for us to try and help our team a lot better. Because I always say it doesn't matter on the team you do bring out. We need to dominate the midfield, which we have hardly done this season. If we dominate the midfield, it doesn't matter about possession. If we shut you down quite quickly, if we're taking the ball off your players very quickly as well, that works in our favour. You know what? I have always said we can't be a counter-attacking team at home, but or away, we need to be dominant in our games. But if we come out as a counter-attacking team and we still manage to score 2 goals, and it ends up being 2-0, I'd still be impressed because you know that we've worked hard and you know that the midfield has been completely dominated. We shut down where we've needed to.
Yeah, and on that front, if you don't press against us, we will punish you.
Yeah, you really will.
We will just play it around you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
The key is, and I know Vieira is going to definitely work on this. We're going to do our best to isolate your fullbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Zaha against Dalot. I think Eze might be playing on the right hand side because Elise won't be fit. So yeah, that'll be the key. If we can isolate your fullbacks, then yeah, we're definitely going to give you problems.
Mm-hmm. Hey there, Vincent. I hope you're well. And you know what? I actually am worried about Zaha and Dalot because we know that Zaha is such a quick player. And we know that Dalot, he's made far too many mistakes for me. And if you are getting dominated against the likes of Kurella from Brighton, I'm not discrediting him. I think he's a brilliant player, but if you are getting bullied by Brighton players, what makes you think that a player who's one of the fastest, in my opinion, in the league, he's gonna completely isolate him, he's gonna shut him down? Because I can't see that.
Yeah, and not only his pace, his trickery.
Yeah,
as well.
because he's very good with his feet.
Yeah, his ball manipulation. So yeah, if we can isolate Dalot 1v1, it's gonna be a field day. And like it would have been the same with Elise and Tellers. But like I said, Elise I don't think he's fit. So oh boy. So I'm just getting excited about the game. I honestly see us, and I'll be disappointed. I mean, we've not been taking our chances lately, which is a bit of a disappointment. But I could see us getting 3 goals.
You really can. Where do you think these goals are going to come from then? Are they going to come from the left, the right, the centre? Where is it going to be? Where's our weakest bit?
I think Zaha will get a brace, and Mateta will get one.
So basically, mostly from Dalot.
I'm hoping Maguire starts too.
Maguire actually didn't start against Brighton, and I don't know what the score would have been if he did start. But technically, he didn't concede a goal against Brighton. He didn't, and he got one of our shots on target.
Can I ask a question on that? Actually, he came against the seaweed, and he didn't get the armband. Do the players not respect him?
When he come on for Brighton?
Yeah, he didn't get the armband.
Yeah, he didn't get the armband. In my personal opinion, though, I think it is the correct thing. I think if a player has come on already as the captain, like Bruno started as a captain, I think unless Bruno had been substituted, then I think he should be remaining as the captain, because I think if you're coming on, you're representing your club. As soon as the actual captain comes on, he gets taken off you. I would see that for me as a bit of a sign of disrespect to think, oh, I'm the captain here today. Are you not respecting what our manager is wanting? He's put me as the captain, not you. And that's what I personally think anyway. I think if he took it off him, I think it would have been a bit more disrespectful for Bruno. And I think it probably would have caused World War III.
Yeah.
What would you have done, though, in that respect? Would you have gave it Maguire, or would you have left it with Bruno?
I guess I'm looking at maybe, because obviously with us, Mark Gay, he's been our captain recently, but then when James McArthur or Luka Milivojevic have come on, Gay, he goes to hand over his armband to them. But then there's been times where they've been like, no, keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And such, because obviously Maka and Luka are actually our designated captains and stuff. So I just thought maybe Bruno should have offered it out. But I don't know. I guess it's different for each club.
Yeah, definitely different for each club. I think it was the right choice, just because of I think it's not fair to take it off him, and especially knowing that Maguire probably would have been the captain anyway if he started. But I think if you were starting, you should be the captain. It should be took off you regardless, unless of course you substituted off. That's my opinion anyway. I don't like this messing around with captains. It just annoys me. Yeah, you're a captain or you're not a captain. Like in pre-season, it was that I think it was the Everton. I can't remember if it was Everton or one of it, but we had like 4 different captains in one game because everyone was getting substituted off. I thought, how many captains do you seriously need in this game? Even Donny was the captain at one point.
This is a lot then.
It was, and he had his armband on upside down. Should I actually try and find this picture for you? So you can see what he looked like as the captain for Man United. A lot of people was like, oh, Donny, it's so poor Donny, he's got his armband on upside down. I'm going to try and see if I can zoom it in for you, because I can't even zoom it in, but that might be a better picture. So I'm going to actually show it you now. I felt sorry for him in a way. He had his armband on upside down, but oh well. There you go. It was the first time he was Manchester United captain, and he had his armband on upside down. Yeah. Jackie makes a good point. Maguire, Dalot, Tellez, Shaw, Varane, whoever plays will be interested to see how Man United defend the play against Palace with the pace and tricks. What would you personally do in terms of who would you think is the best start, like back 4 for Man United in terms of fully fit against yous?
Mambasaka, because he knows how to play against someone now. Varane, Lindelof, and Shaw, I would say. And Shaw's not. Oh wait, is he fit?
No, he's out for the rest of the season. He took his screws out of his leg because I don't think they got properly took out when he broke his leg. So he's had his screws took out. So I think he's going to be out for quite a while now, in my opinion. We might not even see him at the start of next season. I'm not a fan of Tellez anymore. I think if you look at Tellez in terms of he's more of a wing back for me. So if we want the best out of Tellez, we need to change formation. and we don't work well in a back five. We don't play well in a diamond, so he's going to be playing as a left back. In terms of his free kicks, set pieces, corners, he's the best for it. In my opinion, at Manchester United, he's the best for it. He actually helped us in terms of our corner goal drought, where Norwich had 2 more corner goals than us at that point. So it helped us in that respect. But I think in terms of his defending, he gets caught out way too easily.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. Both your flats get caught out way too easily. I mean, Varane's not looked great this season either, and I know he's had a few injuries. So it's definitely something that it's an issue across the board, you know, with your club. And, you know, I won't be surprised if you play your kids.
I think we should. I really do think we should. I'd like to see a little bit more from Garnacho, especially knowing that, I don't know if you watched the FA Cup Youth final for Man United or heard anything about it, but we won 3-1. Garnacho scored a penalty, got a goal as well. There's one called Fernandez who's in our youth team. He's a fullback. I wouldn't even mind trying him. There's other players. We've got Shaw Tyre as well, who's in the youth. We've got Charlie McNeil, who's a striker. I know them haven't properly gone through, but we've got Hannibal as well, who is a midfielder. Why not try Hannibal? Because when he came on for the Liverpool game, even though it was done and dusted, he still put effort into the game, which I couldn't say about the rest of them.
Yeah.
And he got like a yellow card within a few minutes, but it's passion.
Was it kicking Henderson up in the air or something? Which was brilliant.
Yeah, he was pounding the Liverpool players. I was like, I thought, calm down, Hannibal. You're going to get a red card in a minute. But it just shows passion. You need to have passion in derbies, because if you don't care in a derby game, and you'll agree with this when you play against Brighton, because Brighton's your rival, if your team does not perform against Brighton and your team is walking, they're not even attempting to run, it speaks levels.
No, absolutely. I mean, the Seaweeds rivals are really cruelly town, but I think they just want relevance. That's why they seek us to be their rivals and stuff. I don't know. We don't care about them as much as they
do. You have some kind of history against you, don't you? Like from years ago.
It was just to do with the managers, Terry Venables and someone else, and it's just like we don't care. They're really obsessed. But so, I'm not going to take anything away from Graham Potter. He actually done a decent job.
Yeah, I think if he was actually if it was based on away, he would actually be in like the top 6 in terms of points based off away games.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to leave them. Then they might get relegated.
I think that much.
They're just so obsessed. And stop. But yeah, I think Potter is due a bigger role actually, because I think he's a very good coach.
Yeah, Matata, hello, hope you're well. Where would you personally, because people said Graham Potter should be the England manager, he should be Manchester United manager, but I think he needs to be a bit like Steven Gerrard. He's been at Brighton. He needs to go to somewhere else in a higher up team, then go for the likes of City, Liverpool, whoever he wants to go to, or England. What would you personally do, in your opinion, for Graham Potter?
Had Arteta not signed a new 3-year deal, I think he would have been a good fit for Arsenal.
I think Arsenal fans would have loved it.
I mean, before Conte went to Tottenham, there was talks of him going to Spurs. Maybe even Leicester. Because maybe Brendan Rodgers is coming towards the end of his tenure there, to be honest. You know, Rodgers has done an amazing with Leicester within the FA Cup and such. But maybe they might need a bit of a change.
Yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers is on borrowed time right now, so he could actually be a very good manager for Leicester, and it gives him a challenge, because he hasn't really had too much of a challenge at the clubs he's had. And for me, I've always said what lets down Graham Potter is no European football. If he had European football, I would be more for Graham Potter. But you can't put a manager who's had three different experiences: Brighton, Swansea, and I can't remember some other team. And then having no European football to going into the Champions League, for instance, it's a big, massive jump, and you wonder, could he cope with that kind of pressure?
Yeah, I think that would be a step too far. Anyway, so but I think the Europa League side for Nita, he definitely needs to try and push himself, because otherwise Potter could end up sitting at the Seaweeds for like 5, 10, 15 years and think, where do I go from here, sort of thing. So I think he really needs to challenge himself, even if it means going abroad, because he's got the playing style for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the playing style for it, so I think he should challenge himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that completely. My dad did ask a question on who Palace's player of the season was. Was it Conor Gallagher, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, Gallagher won. I personally would give it to Wilf. But that's, like I said, once again, Gallagher's been brilliant for us as well. It's been amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I even put him on my team of the season, actually, Conor Gallagher, when I did do one with John last week, because I think he's been outstanding, in my opinion. But we'll wrap it up here now. Would you like to shout out your score predictions before we shout out our socials?
Right. If Maguire starts, I reckon we could get 4 goals. If he doesn't, I'll just say 3. I'll say 3-1 Palace. I don't see stopping from scoring.
Do you see this is my heart, and this is what it is like now. I've heard that score. All Man United need to do is not lose to get into Europa League. How United will be with that, I don't know. But
yeah,
last day of the season, we need to give our all. We can't finish losing. I'm going to go with a 2-1 for Man United. I think it's going to be very close. It's going to be very scrappy. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 for Man United. Hopefully, we might get another Fred goal. I miss Fred. I really miss Fred.
You don't want to see for the Conference League.
No, we don't. We don't want to aim for Conference League. And a lot of people are saying we don't want Europa League football. But even though Europa League football isn't the best, it's still a cup. I'm sure you'd...
I don't think you can fall out of the Europa League anyway. Let's have a look at the table.
You can fall out.
You can only get Conference or Europa. So
yeah, so I think Europa League football, we should... I actually don't mind being in that. Just for the reason with the Europa League football is that we can... It's still another cup. Yeah, I'm sure you would absolutely love to be in an extra cup competition as well, if that was needed. And that opportunity, it especially depending on who you're playing against, you can give the kids a little bit of European experience as well. I wouldn't mind. I'm not liking Conference League, but I would happily take Europa League. I would take it with the season we've had. I'm not saying we probably deserve it, but I think that I wouldn't be opposed to it either, because we've had Europa League football before under Van Gaal, under Mourinho, and we've won it. We've won it under Mourinho, so we can try and do what we can, the best of it. So all we need to do is not lose, and if we get looking at the table, if we get the 3 points, we should be fine.
If you draw, hold on, I'm just having a look at the table.
If we draw, we still get knocked
and West Ham
out because...
West Ham win, because West Ham's goal difference is so much better.
Exactly.
So you have to win.
Yeah, we need to win. That's what I say. We need to win.
Who's West Ham's last game?
West Ham's last game.
Away to the Seaweeds.
Oh, that is not good. But and they're gonna come from such a high as well after that City game, having the draw, and it's Mark Noble's definite last game, so they want to do it for him as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's we shouldn't have to rely on other teams to lose, but that's what it's come to with us now, unfortunately. I've gone for a 2-1. Vincent very boldly, he always goes for bold predictions. He's gone for a 4-0 to United. Vincent, I'd absolutely love when you get a score prediction right. I'm sure when we won 9-0, what I've heard, you got that right, Vincent, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's one of the only scores he has got right, but I love his optimism. Jackie's gone for a 2-1. Looking at that one, she's gone for the for Palace, unfortunately, looking at the emojis. But yeah, we could potentially get into the Conference League, and if we do, we don't deserve it. If we lose, we don't deserve Europa League football. So we don't deserve Champions League football either. But yeah, Rich, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure doing a show with you. Thank you so much. Would you like to shout out your socials?
Yeah, so you can find me on Eagle-Eyed Football on YouTube. Pretty much the same across Twitter and Instagram. So yeah, Eagle-Eyed Football. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. And just looking at Rich, his YouTube channel, he is on the road to 900 subscribers. So the link is in the description below. Let's get Rich now to 1K subscribers. He's so close. So let's do that. And you can find me here, Devils United, as always. I will be next live. It will be on Friday. I'll be back with John. I will be doing a championship semi-final review. So we'll be going through all the games and the teams. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, has Forest won that now?
No, it's gone into extra time.
Gone to extra time. Wow.
Yeah, Sheffield United are 2-1 up on the night.
Oh, interesting. So that is going to be a good semi-final to talk about, and I'm setting up my own weekly show called Player Profile. So all the players who've been on loan this season, I've got Birmingham fans on next 2 weeks for Chong and Menga. We'll be trying to get as many rival players as fans as we can, who's had the players at their clubs, to discuss how they've been and how they have played, if they suit Manchester United, and would they be the future of Manchester United. So check that out on Monday, and we have got another Premier League quiz on Wednesday. So check that out as well. And if you are interested in joining the new Champions League quiz, which will start once this season ends, give me a message in the socials below. I will sign you up. If you remember my quiz, I'm not very nice. So yeah, we'll see you all soon, everyone. Take care, and it's a goodbye for now.